Hello and welcome to another episode of Journey to a Dream, brought to you by Kawasaki Insurance. I'm Beth, and the aim of this podcast is to really talk to people who are passionate about motorsport in whatever guise that might be. And today we're talking to a three-wheeler. Let's meet him now.
My name's Harry Payne. I'm a sidecar racer. Lived on the Isle of Man for 7 years, and I'm racing in the Sidecar World Championships, and last year we became world champions.
I love the fact you say that so nonchalantly, just like that happens every single day, Harry. You're speaking to us from Holland currently. As you say, you did used to live here on the Isle of Man. We've just had a sort of a fairly jokey conversation about the weather, but you've only fairly recently left the island. I think it's 2023. How have you found the move, first of all?
Good. I mean, beneficial because I'm racing in Europe, so this was the most difficult thing living on the Isle of Man, getting to all the races, because it's two ferries instead of one if you're living in England, or none now, so it's even better. But I'm only 3 hours drive away from my team sort of headquarters, which is in Cologne in Germany, so I'm not far away from there. And the move was okay. I'm just struggling a little bit with the lingo, but it's coming.
Can you say anything to us in Dutch yet?
I can, but it's what shall I say? Gas her up, go faster. Yeah.
Okay, we'll practice that so that when you're back over here we can shout it at you. Take us back to where it all started. I know you're from a racing family. What do you remember about being a very young child and watching and being part of that racing scene?
Well, I mean, I've been at the races since I could walk, or before I could walk. My dad had a big accident while he was racing in 1995. Unfortunately, I don't remember watching any of his races. I was too small then to remember it all. Yeah, after that we sort of went to watch a lot of races together as I was growing up, and we watched a lot of classic racing, a lot of Bemsey, I think it was then, and generally the sidecar sort of stood out like a sore thumb to me. I mean, I just loved it from the get-go, and it was just an inevitability that I would end up in it, really.
And despite what happened to your dad, he was obviously left with very serious life-changing injuries after that incident. How did he feel about your passion for this sport?
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, I was never gifted a go-kart or a superbike or something like this, road bike stuff. I was just, I had a trials bike. I started off with a TY80, it was a little trials bike, and I just used to pot around, but I always wanted to go fast, I couldn't really get on with going so slow all the time. So and he could see that, but we didn't really have the budget or money to go racing. So it was just trials until I was 16. Did trials riding, classic club stuff and twin shock stuff, and then when I was 16, I started doing classic sidecar motocross passengering. It was a track that was literally 10 minutes from where we lived, and we always used to go and watch. And then we met everyone and become friendly with everyone, and I found my way in, and that's how it started. And my dad was obviously supportive, especially with the passengering role, because I mean, it's the best part about it is you get off the bike and you bugger off home, and you haven't got to do too much,
But it wasn't for you, though, passengering. I mean, obviously you did it, and you did it for quite a while. I think you did 2 TTs, didn't you, as a passenger, but not quite for you. Were you always thinking that you wanted to be in the driving seat? Yeah,
I mean, there's always things that I had some great drivers, but I would always want to do things differently and wouldn't understand why people would be doing things the way they were, That was the main reason. Like, I was enjoying it, but I felt like I could go quicker if I was driving. That's the bottom line. I mean, I wasn't the best passenger. I wasn't bad, but I wasn't the best. And I got to a certain level where I realised, okay, I'm not good enough to go any further, and that was it. Really, I just sort of made the decision to try and switch. I mean, it was going to be an attempt, because it's all driving is really budget related. If you can do it, it depends on how much support you can get. Otherwise, you have a really expensive thing to look at in the garage, So it was a bit of a gamble whether we could actually do it.
So what was the hardest part of that transition, would you say, either physically or mentally?
Doing everything, I'd say. I mean, you don't really realise how much goes on until you have to do it all yourself. And when I was on the Isle of Man, I was there sort of on my own, as such. I'd moved there on my own. And I was kind of, had to set up by myself, had to get a garage by myself and a van big enough to carry a sidecar. And then I had to teach myself how to put the sidecar in the van on my own, because it's not the easiest things to do. but yeah, it was all a bit tricky, really. Just the logistics of it all, getting it all, the plan for racing all together and making it all happen. I mean, it's not so easy.
You raced alongside TT sidecar legend Dave Molyneux. You passengered for him, and you think you finished 10th in sidecar race 2. That was in 2019. I just wondered that the sidecars have got a great reputation for being a really supportive, family-like environment, and I just wondered if you've got any advice, any guidance from people like Dave.
Yeah, loads. I mean, loads. I met Dave in 2016, and we sort of talked a lot about, what we've got similar family backgrounds with with fathers and racing and following, into that sort of side of things. And I always looked up to Dave. He gave me a lot of advice, a lot of help. He actually gave me a lot of help building my my new bike at the time that I began driving on. And I mean, the first year when I went up Derby, I was racing against Dave, and it was great. If you needed anything, normally most of the time I'd go back to via his workshop to sort of do something to the bike for the next meeting, and things like that. It is really a family sort of atmosphere in the sidecar paddock. Of course, you don't get on with everyone, and that's normal, but most of the time everyone will help, anyone.
And you say when you were passengering, you thought that maybe if you had been in the driving seat, you would have been able to go quicker. And I think your average race speed in the first year driving at the TT was almost 3 miles per hour faster. What was the difference?
Well, that's difficult because, in general on circuit racing, I sort of mean that. But at the TT, we had a bad run. We were 10th because of me. I wasn't good enough, and that was it. So we had to kind of knock it off. That didn't work because of me. But at the end of the day, we had 2 laps of practice, and I couldn't do the speeds that Dave wanted to do, and that was it. So unfortunately, I let the side down there, but it is what it is. But in general, I meant, circuit racing, everyone I'd been on with, I kind of felt like I would take different lines and do different things and prepare the bike differently in a lot of ways as well. I mean, I didn't really understand a lot of the setup choices that I was when I was passengering, the sort of things I wouldn't have done. But it was all learning curve, and it's all part of it. It's all part of the bigger picture.
How do you go about then picking the right passenger?
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, it's difficult because for me, I always wanted someone that was close to my weight, so we had a good balance. Someone who thought a little bit like me and weren't worried about, throwing it up a little gap and trying to, seeing if we come out the other side. Someone like that. And I don't really know how you look for that perfect passenger. I guess it's difficult. I mean, I was lucky. I really had most of the time always a good passenger. Started off with Ollie Lace, who we sort of worked on the bike all the time together. We did a little bit of trials riding together. It was, a good mate of mine, and he was perfect. And we only stopped because we sort of wanted to do different things. We sort of had different ideas about where we wanted to go. So I went off on my way, and he went off on his way. But then my next passenger was a world champion. So I don't know. It's difficult. I guess it's timing, who you know, how you know them, and what you're planning to do.
And that communication between the driver and the passenger, it has to be instinctive, really, doesn't it? When you're going around whatever track it is, because obviously there's no chance to just stop and have a chat about anything. How have you built that sort of rapport with different people?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost telepathic, and I think if you haven't got that, you can't go fast. That's generally what I think. You've got to know that person inside out, and that's probably why I think it's works so good for like the Birchall brothers, the Crow brothers. That their family, they know each other so well, and that's kind of where I'm at now with Kevin, because his girlfriend is the sister of my girlfriend, so we're kind of all like one big family in a way. But I think that's it really. You've got to be kind of telepathic with them. I mean, they know, Kevin knows what's going to happen at the next corner, and if there's a little gap, he knows we're going for it, and things like that. He knows I'm not shy with that, and and I know he's going to be there when I throw it in a little bit or break a little bit later. I know he's there for it, and I don't even think about him. So you've got to have that, really, if you want to go fast.
Was it 2023 you finished 5th in the Sidecar World Championship, which is phenomenal, but we know that wasn't the ultimate goal for the pair of you. But how is it in that world? How much time do you have to do anything other than think about getting to the top in that sport?
Yeah, I mean, 2023 was a little bit of a strange year for me. It was actually a bad year for me, funnily enough. Yeah, I mean, it was a new pairing, me and Kevin, and we had a new bike, and I'd never ridden. Well, I'd ridden one once, but never raced one properly, and it was all a difficult year, a learning period. It was character building, let's say. We had a lot of people, a lot of fast people, and we didn't quite have the package under us, and yeah, it didn't work. But it was a learning year, and then obviously last year it all came good. We made some changes over the winter. You really need good support, good sponsors, good backing, otherwise you can't do it. And we've had to sort of take our time and be smart with what we do, because we don't have big sponsorships, we don't have big backing, so it's difficult, and you've got to limit yourself to what you can do, where you can go, how much money you can spend. Do
you think you'd ever want to sit down and think about how much money you have put into this?
Not really. I mean, yeah, but myself, I only think about racing. Generally, I'm not thinking about other things, so all of my thought process goes into it, all of my money goes into it. I am trying to save for a house, but it's not really working because I keep racing. That support is really vital, but we're really struggling with it at the moment, let's say.
And that's so tough, Harry, when you think about, obviously, winning the 2024 Sidecar World Championship. I mean, that is surreal. You are literally at the pinnacle of your sport. And if somebody like you is struggling with the sponsorship side of things, I think it just shows people how tough it is out there.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, I think in general, this year, I think it's not just with our sport. I think it's with a lot of sports. I mean, in general, everyone's a little bit, struggling at the moment with, or watching, watching the pennies. And with the sport that I'm in the World Championship, it's not as well promoted as the TT. It's not such a big event, let's say, as the TT. So, it is the pinnacle of sidecar racing on the circuits. But it is struggling for a bit of a boost of promotion, like the TT's got. I mean, if you're racing at the TT, you've got so much coverage, you've got half a chance of getting some good backing, and that's where we're struggling. But I think we're the sort of most followed team on social media in sidecars, and we're struggling like we are. I mean, it's crazy, but it is the way it is. Unfortunately, we can't change it. A lot of emails gone out over the winter, and still till now, every day there's messages going out searching. But what can you do? That's the maximum I can do. Yeah, we'll see.
Well, we'll obviously put a link on to how people can get in touch with you if anyone's listening and maybe able to offer any support, which I know anything is gratefully received. Let's just focus on the positives then, because clearly, despite all of that hardship, there is something about the sport that you love so much. Clearly, being a world champion is absolutely unbelievable. When did you first realise that was happening, that you had made it?
When I crossed the line, but it was such a close finish. It was 500ths of a second that we won by. It was just to the left of me, just a little bit back. So I was, oh my God, I've won it. But it was a bit strange. I think I was the only one in the team who didn't cry. I was a bit sort of shocked, Everyone was in tears after, except me. But it was an amazing thing, of course. But I think I was just knackered, to be honest, from the whole tension of the weekend, and it was a bit of a wild experience, let's say.
I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? It's not only the sort of the physical things that you're going through out there, but actually emotionally, probably not much sleep. I don't know. I mean, do you suffer with nerves and things like that? Are you able to compartmentalise and just give yourself some downtime?
Yeah, I mean, not really. Normally I'm fine. I don't really get the nerves at all, but that last race where I was sitting on the line, I was feeling it, let's say that. Yeah, that's not normal for me. I don't really get nervous, which is strange to say. It's the odd time when I've had a close one with someone in the qualifying or something like that, and I'm feeling like it's going to be a ding dong, then maybe a bit of nerves creep in. But normally I feel quite good. But yeah, like Estoril was a bit special. Yeah, I was nervous, but it came good in the end.
Certainly did. And I guess going into 2025 defending a world title, well, is that a whole different challenge?
It is, yeah. I mean, we'd struggled last year with a couple of little things on the track, and I thought, okay, I'm going to focus on improving them little things over the winter. And we've made a whole new body for the bike, a carbon shell, if you like. So we've got a whole new shape for this year, which we're going to try hopefully in 3 weeks. And yeah, little things. I've tried not to rock the boat too much because it's a good package. It's working. It's fast, but we just want a little bit more in a couple of little areas. So yeah, I mean, it's difficult. It takes a lot of time to build a fairing, to build a bodywork. And I've been able to do it on the weekends in Germany. So I've been working in the week, Monday to Friday here in Holland, and then Saturday, Sunday in Germany working on the fairing. I've been every weekend, apart from Christmas, every weekend since the end of last season, really, apart from when we went away for the awards even. I haven't really had a weekend off, but that's just sidecar racing. I mean, we all like working on our bikes, or we think we do. We just, yeah, we're always doing it. And that's it, really. I just love it.
And you mentioned your girlfriend. Does she love it as much as you?
Yeah, she does racing as well. She's a classic racer, so both the girls are. So yeah, it's nice. It's nice. We're all sort of involved in the sport somehow. And Kevin's girlfriend, she does our social media for us, so that's really nice. She's got a grip on that now, and it's coming up. So yeah, it's lovely. We're all sort of big fans of racing in general, and the whole team is really, so it's nice.
And you mentioned the social media side of things, and again, that's something that's so important now, isn't it? I mean, years ago you'd never have to think about this, but again, think about sponsors and whatever. There's almost that responsibility to give back in ways of promoting yourself.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I mean, most of the time we'd had inquiries with companies about sponsorship and things like that. It's more commercial stuff that really care about the social media following, and we'd been turned away before because we didn't have enough followers. So right, we've really got to get this boosted up a little bit and put some good content on. And it's also good just to keep people up to date, and we kind of have a bit of a sort of funny thing going on. We're always having a laugh, we're always taking the mick, and that comes across in all of our sort of reels and videos and such like that, just to sort of make people laugh and just to be more marketable, I guess. I don't know, but I think it's good. Yeah, it's just the sport doesn't really have the platform at the moment to boost us. We've got to do it all ourselves. So yeah, that's why it's so important.
And it seems incomprehensible, doesn't it, that it's like that? Because we've talked to sidecar racers before on this podcast, and there are people who don't really understand the sport at all, maybe come over for TT and think, oh, I'm going to go before the sidecars start, or maybe just end up being there for the first lap and then just find it the most mind-blowing experience, because it is just something that's almost set apart.
Yeah, that's it. I've heard so many stories, and so I think anyone you speak to will say the same, that they've heard so many stories about people falling in love with the sidecars when they didn't know what it was before, just by seeing it at the track, because it's not really out there. Most people, if you don't know, you just don't know, do you, until you see it, and then they're just wowed by it. That's the same for me when I first saw it. I mean, that's how I got involved. I was just hooked, and I think that's sort of how most people find it.
So this year, as we say, retaining the World Championship is on your mind, but also the British Sidecar Championship as well.
Yeah, the British is on my mind. I mean, we're trying to get it to happen, but I mean, it's just budget dependent, of course. I mean, I've raced in the World Championship now for how many years? I don't know, 3 years? And 3.5 years, with 3 years of full seasons and 1 season just bits and bobs. And the last 2 years we haven't had a British Grand Prix. Well, most of the grid is British, so it's just not good enough. But we can't make them add it in. So I thought, well, I want to race a little bit in England. So we tried to sort of drum up some enthusiasm with the team and the sponsors. And last year we managed to go and do brands, and yeah, we were fastest, I think, almost every time, and we won the second race on the Sunday. So it was just perfect. I thought, well, we need to do this as well. I mean, most of the tracks in England I haven't actually ridden on the F1 bike. That was Brands and Donington. That's the only two I've done. So that's the plan, if we can do it. But it all costs money.
That is everything that it comes down to, isn't it? Are we likely to see you back here on the Isle of Man anytime soon?
I'm not ruling it out. I mean, I had a very bad year in 2022. It wasn't bad riding. Obviously, the event was a little bit of a bad one in terms of sidecar. Yeah, the accidents. That was just terrible. But I didn't really feel like I had any support in general, like a support network. Do you know what I mean? Like the solo riders all have Milky, don't they? And they can all go and chat to him whenever they want. And yeah, it was a little bit different for me, and I had such a bad experience that it's okay, I'm done. That's what I said to myself at the time. But you know, when you watch a little bit of racing, I watched 23 and then I watched 24, and then I thought, it is a great event, and I wouldn't mind to have a crack at it again at some point, but everything has to be right, and we're struggling with what we're doing at the moment. So to add another bike to our sort of fleet and time off to get there and get it all done, it's difficult. And it sounds a bit depressing because all I'm talking about is how difficult it is, but it's the truth. And yeah, if the right deal popped up, you never know, I might come back and do it. But then I'd need a passenger, and I'm not sure if I've got one for the TT at the moment, because my one might be still doing it with Ben, so I'm not sure. We'll have to see.
And that's the thing. I think you've really encapsulated it so well. It's all about everything being in the right place, but mentally you absolutely have to be there as well. And that's a crucial part of this.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you've got to be so focused, but everything's got to be right, you know, and if something's not right, then it's not worth it. You know, I probably shouldn't have started that second race, but I did. Yeah, it went all right. We had some issues with the bike, but just at the point when the race was red flagged was when the bike was getting to the point where it was unrideable, and it was a terrible tragedy, but that was the only reason I finished fifth. Because of that, otherwise I wouldn't have finished either races. But yeah, difficult. I'd like to come back. I would like to come back. It's just everything needs to be right, you know. And yeah, we'll see.
I think you were over here recently, weren't you, for the Andreas Racing Association annual dinner, and that we talk a lot about on this podcast because it's such a fantastic organisation here that's really grown in leaps and bounds in recent years, and they really do place sidecars at the heart of what they do up there.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, I started there in 2020. When I started driving, I had great fun up there. Yeah, it was really a really nice place to ride. Everyone sort of looks out for everyone. Yeah, brilliant club. It was just nice to go back and see everyone again since I haven't been there for a few years. So yeah, that was really nice. I went over to the dinner and gave a few trophies out. That was really nice. It felt good to be sort of recognised as well for my sort of achievements as such. But no, it was really nice to see everyone, and yeah, great club.
And they really do see you as one of their own, and there's been a lot of posts about your World Championship. So, yeah, having that support there must be really lovely. I just wonder, Harry, OK, if you could put any solo racer in your sidecar, take them for the lap of the TT course, who would it be?
Well, that's a good question. Are we going for sort of top speed here, or are we going for just giving them a thrill ride?
Well, yeah, let's go for just giving them a bit of a eyes-opening experience.
I don't know. I'll have to think about that. Yeah. There'd have to be a TT racer, would it?
Well, I'm just thinking because there aren't many riders. I know we've got Michael Russell who rides both solo and rides the sidecars as well, but there aren't many who do it, and I wonder how many of them have actually had a go in a sidecar.
I'd take Michael Dunlop round. I reckon he'd be keen for it.
I bet he would, yeah, if he's listening.
He wouldn't tap me up, I don't reckon. He'd be well up for it.
If he's listening, yeah, he can get in touch.
Yeah.
So we're talking in the first week of February. Give us a sense of what your time, I know you've got all the testing and everything coming up and whatever, but like on a sort of a day-to-day basis, what does your life look like at the moment?
It's really boring.
Well, maybe don't bother. No, go on.
No, at the moment, I mean, it's just work full-time.
What is the day job?
Weekend, I'm a forklift mechanic. I've never had to say that in English, so that was a bit weird to get out.
What is it in Dutch?
Ben een heftruckmonteur. Yeah. But, yeah, so that's my day job, Monday to Friday, and then obviously the weekends I'm in Germany doing the bike. But at the moment, the fairing is now getting moulded, so that's down in the south of Germany getting moulded. The bike is up in north of Germany getting the cooling system made. There's nothing at the workshop to do, so I've got this weekend, my first weekend off, so I don't know what I'm going to do myself.
Oh, how lovely. You've got to do something nice, or just sit down and don't do anything, binge watch something on telly.
Yeah, I might do something like that. I might drink a beer. I don't know.
How lovely.
That has been done once or twice by a sidecar racer in the past.
In terms of sort of keeping physically fit, how important is that for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's not as important as the passenger. I mean, it is important, of course. It's, physically wise, I mean, yeah, the passenger is obviously all over the place, left, right, down, and that's more physical, of course. But mental strength is definitely part of my driving, and that comes with fitness. That actually comes just by being fit. You're mentally stronger as well. That's sort of my approach. I don't go mad at the gym. I'm sort of running, cycling. There's a little bit of gym work, but not much. And I just try to stay sort of in a good shape, really. And that's it. I mean, I don't really have any problems anymore. I did have some issues when I first started racing, but it was more of getting used to the heat as such in the hotter countries. And but I feel pretty good, to be honest, when I'm racing. I don't really have any issues anymore, so that's nice.
Is there a track you haven't raced yet but would love to?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's quite a lot, but like Phillip Island or something like that, or Laguna Seca would be amazing. But yeah, we're sort of mainly European based. I'm just trying to think if we've got a new track this year, but we haven't. No. Yeah, it's most of the time now. Every track the same. I've done it before, but there's a few this year that we haven't got a setup for because the tyres have all changed in the last year or so. So all the setups are a little bit different, but most of it's pretty much the same. But I was thinking, when I pack in with the racing, I'm just going to buy a little solo bike and probably scare myself silly and go do track days on some really cool tracks that I haven't been to before. That's sort of my plan.
That'll be cheaper then.
It will definitely be cheaper, yeah. I could be my own sponsor.
Do we talk a lot about, and I think we sort of hinted at it, about the future of sidecar racing, and what that really needs is the next generation coming up behind you, following what you do and wanting to be you and, win those world championships and whatever. What would you have as the best piece of advice for somebody thinking about it?
Just have a crack, or message me and I'll tell you what you need to do. I mean, yeah, it needs more people. It needs young blood. But where are these young people? They're on their phones, aren't they? So you need to put sidecars on the phones. People, I keep saying it to the promoters of the sport, but Instagram, Facebook, just get it all better, and the kids will see it. But that's they're a bit stuck in their ways with the promotional tactics. But anyway, yeah, it is what it is. We need more people in. I don't really know how we can get them in other than that. I mean, Greg Lambert does that sidecar school in where's that? In Teesside in England. So if you want to have a go, you can contact Greg Lambert and get over to his school and have a go in the side. I think you can have a go as a driver as well, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, something like that would be good in the Isle of Man. But I don't think you've got enough people there that want to try it. So maybe a one-off day in the year where you could have a trial day. That would be probably a good thing that I would advise maybe Andrew's club to think about. We did talk about it in the past, but we just need to try and get more people involved. I think the TT do a really good thing where they send a couple of people down to the schools, with the bike. And I did that in 22. I went to a school. We did a presentation on the sidecar, and I think the Isle of Man generates enough interest to keep new people coming into the sport through things like that. That's good. But that doesn't happen in Europe. And that doesn't happen with World Championships stuff. Where they just plod along with old promotional systems. It's not really up to date.
I guess this is where you're going to be doing your bit, hopefully with your social media. Can you get a camera on your helmet and start posting your TikTok videos?
Yeah, I mean, we've done the thing with the camera behind the bike on a little stick, and you can see the whole view of we did a couple of tracks. You can see the whole view of how it goes, and one of the videos got, I think it's on 17 million views, 350,000 likes, and it's getting shared like every day. Still, I mean, that's what it needs, so people can see it, and more people doing things like that. And just I'm not saying we're doing what everyone needs to do, because it just needs promotion in general. Everyone needs to do their bit, but it's not easy. Social media is not really, everyone's cup of tea, and it's now on the level where I can't keep up. That's why Sharina does it for us. But that's what it needs, unfortunately, and you've got to do it.
Well, Harry, it's been brilliant talking to you. We do wish you all the very, very best for 2025 and really hope we do see you back here on the Isle of Man sometime soon. Talked a lot about sponsorship. Hopefully there's somebody listening who thinks, actually, here's somebody that I really want to invest in. How would they get in touch with you?
Facebook or Instagram, or you can drop us an email. It's harrypayne45@gmail.com. More than happy to talk about anything. I mean, we have a club of 50, which is €50, and you get all the updates, all the news and bits and bobs like that. So there's more than one way to become a supporter. You know, it doesn't have to cost thousands.
Brilliant. Well, enjoy your weekend off.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'll try.
Brilliant. Take care.
Yeah, good to talk to you. Thanks. See you later.
Harry Payne, and honestly we wish him all the very best for 2025. And it's incredible, isn't it, to think of somebody who's been so successful, has done so well, but talking so candidly about financial struggles of being in this sport. And if you would like to support him in any way, the links are on the podcast page, and there's also a link to that video we were talking about, and that is something which might make you think, oh, there's a sport I'd quite like to do. Definitely not for me, though. The Journey to a Dream podcast has been brought to you by Kawasaki Insurance, and you can find out more about how you can get covered by them by visiting their website, which is kawasaki-insurance.co.uk. And until next time, take care. Bye-bye.